Hello, YouTube. Welcome. Time for another live stream. I have coffee. You know, I didn't drink coffee till I was in my 30s because I was raised Mormon, and coffee was a sin. It was a sin to drink coffee. Quite honestly, I think it's a sin not to drink coffee. That's what I think. I think it's a sin not to drink it because coffee is delicious and tasty. Going to talk about my thoughts on GLP-1's 2026. Several months into the year. I haven't really done an updated GLP-1 conversation in a minute. I have thoughts, many thoughts. My thoughts continue to evolve around GLP-1s. They've been continuing to evolve around them for a while. Why is that? That video looks hazy on my end. Why does it look hazy? Let me see if it's the lights. I got this blue light back here, but I'm worried it's casting a thing. Let me see. I should be able to control it here from my phone. Hey, if you're getting in here to the chat, we're just starting a live stream. Say hello. Love to hear from you. Let's see. Nope, that's the main light. We don't want that one. Is it this one? Oh, yeah. That's casting a blue haze onto my... Oh, it's reflecting off the wall into the monitor. You know what? We're not going to do that. We're not going to do the blue. But we are going to fix the light. Let's see. So light sources, color match. Oh, I could do different colors. Oh, let's see. What if I do that color? That's not good. What about gray? No, that looks terrible. What about brown? Can this thing do brown? No, that's still skin color. Oh, I see. I have to wait until it picks the color. All right, let's see. Let's find a fun color. No, there's no colors there. What about, no, that's blue. What about red? Why is it not detecting? Oh, that's source match for the, oh, I see what it's doing. So here we go. Tap. Okay. That seems to be working. And then just turn it. Make myself well lit. I don't know. Do we even need that light? Maybe I don't. No, we need that. That's sort of dim. But we can turn the brightness down. Anyway, welcome. Good to have you here. CCT. Brightness 55,000 Kelvin. Which matches daylight, and then we'll just turn the dimness down. There we go. I do want to be properly lit. You can see I'm adjusting this light. This is what I'm trying to do right here. Good morning. All right. Let's see who else here. Whoa, that's not right. That's not right. I'm not supposed to make that bigger. I'm scrolling the wrong thing, man. You're scrolling the wrong thing, Chris. There we go. You need to scroll over here. Ha, there we go. I don't trust people who don't drink coffee. How do they do it? I don't know. I know you're a fellow coffee. Kate, did you ever taper down off coffee? I've gently tapered down my coffee and caffeine usage in preparation for my race coming up. I want it to really hit me. I do have to go on caffeine tapers though. As someone riddled with ADHD, I can sometimes self-medicate with it. It's better to use my Adderall for it. Anyway, what are you saying here? 0 calorie soda and caffeine water packets. Oh, I mean, that could work too. Yeah. I mean, it's just caffeine. I mean, sometimes I get bored of coffee and I switch to energy drinks, but there's just so much caffeine in energy drinks. It's evening in Kenya. Well, hello over there in Kenya. Very cool. Welcome. This is so neat. I just love this. I get to just talk to people from all over the world. Iceland, Dagny, of course, right? So neat. Where everybody hailing from? Tell me as close as you are comfortable telling me. I am in Arkansas. That's where I'm from. Where are y'all hailing from? Again, as close as you are comfortable saying. You could just say the U.S. You could say a state. You could say a country, city, whatever you want. Just whatever you're comfortable with. Which remember, this is the internet. But it is kind of cool to see where everybody's coming from. It is pretty cool. The daily listening program, by the way, update, actually. Can I give an update on the daily listening program in the guild? So for those of you that have done my Kickstart program, which is my free weight loss program. In the Guild, you actually continue with a year-long program, and that which started off earlier this year. And I have got to say, we are having massive participation in that. Like, when I scroll through, it is by far the most engaged program of all the programs out there. But there's quite a few people that are just a day behind me. Like, y'all are nipping at my heels trying to get it. But if you've been doing my daily listening program in the Guild, I'd love to hear what you're thinking about it. And again, those of you that have done my free course, you may not even know what we're talking about here. Okay, let's do. Now y'all are getting the y'all are telling me where you're hailing from. Let's see where people coming from. Romania. Oh, very cool. I just think it's so neat to get people from all over the world coming here to the live stream. Oh, several Connecticut folks, Manitoba, Canada. Do you know Joe? I used to have some friends from Canada. They always got annoyed. They're like, everybody's like, do you know so-and-so from Canada? It's like as if y'all somehow know each other. Colorado. Oh, I tell you, that's one place I'd always love to live. I probably won't anytime soon, but I sure would love to. Buffalo, New York. It's probably still cold up there, I imagine. Let's see. Michigan, Nova Scotia, Canada, Romania, Ohio, Chicago suburbs. Oh, that's always a special place in my heart, is the Chicago suburbs. I lived in Batavia and Downers Grove, and I loved both. I love Chicago. I love the suburbs of Chicago. It's just such a wonderful place to live. It's expensive, and taxes are ridiculous. But gosh, I love Chicago so much. Love the daily listening program. Excellent. Glad you're enjoying it too. Listen to the first one this morning. Excellent. Oh, the first one. Oh, Dagny, did you do the first one? Let me see. Let me look at you here on the course. Look at you. There you are. I see it. Day one. You checked it off. Nice work. Let's see. The kick is awesome. I'm telling you, if you like the Kickstart, the daily listening is where it's at even more. It's a new program I did this year. And then we're doing these 15-minute. Are y'all liking the 15-minute ones? I don't even know if y'all are watching. Some of those are coming to those. I'm trying to figure out how to best do those. I did drop some 30-minute session in this week, and we're going to follow it up with just conversation. I'm experimenting with different session types because I want to make it where people can do these with their jobs. Let's see, Montana, Beaumont, Texas. So yeah, I said if you're doing the daily listening, I'd love to. Actually, here I can let y'all see what that looks like. Let's see. So if I come here, hold on. Make sure I don't have any client information up on the screen. Okay. Screen share. What's that going to share? Yeah, there we go. So here we have the daily listening program here, which that is completely unreadable. Let's make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Daily listening program. My checkboxes are very erratic. But what's cool is then when you click on it, you get different assignments. You get different things to do. You can leave messages in the comments. Oh, there we go. Now y'all can actually see that. So anyway, I hope y'all have been, well, I mean, you can see right here. I mean, I can see who's how far people have gone in the program, which is pretty cool. I said, I can see you. I can see what you're watching. Let's see, you're liking the 15-minute one as well as the daily listening. Yeah, I'm really trying to shift the program where we can keep you engaged every day in some way. It's made it, I got to be honest, everybody. I was just talking with a couple of people about it this week. I love the daily listening and I love the podcast stuff that I'm doing. I've been bringing more of the Food Body Mind podcast in. I'm kind of watching to see when I see a bunch of people watch it, then I release the next one. But here's the thing that's happening for me. I have noticed a major disconnect between me and y'all in the last month as I started doing this. I love the program and I love seeing everybody's doing it. But like for me, it's like, oh my gosh, like, because y'all are just in your zone and in your thing, doing your thing, which is how it's supposed to be. But I'm realizing like, I got to figure out some other session types because I got to get connected with y'all again. I miss the two-way connection big time from everybody. So you got to get the tablet set up there, Gail. Yeah. Went to a 15-minute the other day. Love that one as well. Good. Try to catch them. Now, by the way, y'all, if you missed them, you can watch the replays of them. Actually, in case y'all don't know how, let me show you how to do the replays. Hide comment. Let's go back to screen share. So if you go to events and you go to list view and you go to past, what you can then do is you can find like a 15-minute grounding session. And if you click it, you'll see the replays just right here, and you can just watch it right on the session. So they're always there. I will not be able to keep them all because it takes up space, and I do have memory. I have to manage resources on that. But also, if you want to hear, if you see I'm scrolling on the left, if you go to Chris Terrell Coaching, this is where I do all the specific ones. Here, you can even filter it if you're like, all right, I just want to see grounding sessions, and that'll pull just those up. So I did drop this week's grounding sessions in. So those are there if you need them. But again, you can just go to past and then boom, right here, all ready to go. You can watch all the old grounding sessions to stay focused. I'm really trying to make it where you can stay focused every day because this journey really is one day at a time. I did just drop a marathon meeting this Wednesday. The problem with the small groups was not a lot of people were showing up. But I was getting a bit overwhelmed because I was wanting to do the daily listening, and that takes a bunch of energy, as well as some of the other things. But I'm dropping more of the sessions in. You're going to see those. I usually try to change up everything every quarter with the guild, so you're going to see that coming. Yeah, the longer meetings you're going to see. You just saw one go on that. I'm going to experiment with 30-minute sessions, and then we do discussion after, because the emotional leading course that we're doing on Wednesday, we're doing that. And I'm really liking it because I can hear where y'all are at, and I can be like, okay, this is what's working. This is what y'all are clicking. This is what's making sense. Because I'm really wanting to adapt everything to where y'all are at in your journey, so to speak. So definitely be staying tuned and, with what's happening in the community. Also, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there, put the word out. I'm going to be hiring an admin for the guild. So, there'll be a job posting actually coming. This will be my first time ever posting one in the guild, in the community. So I'm kind of excited. I'd rather get somebody from the community, but I'm going to be looking for an admin. So if anybody's looking for part-time work, it's paid, but if anybody's looking for part-time work, it'll be about 10 to 20 hours a week. Just kind of be on the lookout. You're going to see something coming. I'll be sending it. Again, my preference is the guild. Remote work does need to be done during the day because I need it working when I'm working. But I'm really excited about that. Participate every way I can. Joining the guild is going to happen. I'm telling you, Tracy, the guild is, it's different. I don't know. There's a lot of guild members here right now, Tracy. So that's the thing I would say. Like, so, guildies, shout out. How have you found the guild to be helpful for you? Actually, I want to know that. I want to know that. I mean, Tracy, I want you to know, but actually I want to know how has the guild been helping? Cause I'd love to get the feedback, especially cause I kind of been shifting things up lately. I'm liking hearing which you guys are missing, because we're going to bring things back. By the way, while we're talking, everybody, don't forget, if you like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And this is YouTube. If you don't mind tapping that like button, that does help get the stream in front of more people. That does help. Also, I have new episodes of the podcast out every Friday. So if you don't know, I have a podcast every Friday. I do new episodes. The stuff I've been doing most recently is definitely much more deeper mindset stuff, because I've got 250 episodes of sort of like the general weight loss stuff. And I'm like, it's time to like do things different. So, I'm ready to go deeper. I just have things I just want to talk about and things that scare me. I want to challenge myself creatively. And so I've been like, all right, I'm going to take the podcast and go deeper with some things. Let's say, all right, so y'all were telling me many of y'all here were telling me how the guild has helped you. I'd love to hear. It said, so many resources to use. Community is awesome. Founding member. That's right. You are a founding member. You've been with me since the beginning, which I appreciate all of you founding members that are still here with the guild. Rosie, I've been enjoying your posts lately. I've been really enjoying your posts. I've been reading them all. I've really enjoyed them. Thank you for sharing those in the community. Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's the thing. The community, the camaraderie and support is so important. And we're going to be doing more to try to really drive that up. Yeah, good. I'm glad, Sean, especially for you. Yeah, with the emotional eating. Can we attend meetings that are set up for different stages? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can do that. I will, unless it says specifically don't come, you can come. I would not advise coming though to final pounds or maintenance though, unless you're close. Like, just because we kind of talk about weight loss very focused. You can just know that like we are not talking to beginners in there. Because this journey really does change when you get later stage. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Susanna. Yeah, you've been talking about that. It's keeping me engaged, which is keeping me on track. Sometimes I struggle for a day or two. That's it. It's like it's not about being perfect every day. It's about just not getting down and then staying down, right? Like we have to get back up one more time, then we fall down. One more time, then we fall down. That's the part that's so important. Yeah, I made best friends. That's what makes me so happy. Again, I'm glad Tracy said, if you think it's good there, it is, but the guild. See, do I want to talk about GLP-1's now? Or we want to do some wins and stuff? Let's see how many people are here. We got a decent amount of you here. No, I want to keep, I don't know, I'm enjoying talking to you all. I'm enjoying interacting with you. Rosie, had an overeat yesterday for Easter and was wondering how I can make a better plan to avoid it next time. Good question. So well, first, it's what are you doing today, Rosie? And the thing is like, it's really to just move on today as if it didn't happen, right? That's what you do today. You wipe the slate clean, just like we talk about in the daily listening, and then you just keep going. However, you got the right mentality here of like, you want to, all right, what lesson can I get from this so that I don't repeat it in the future? That's a wise way to think of it. And so what I would encourage you to think about, how can you make a better plan to avoid it next time? Now, again, I don't know what led to the overeat, but it would be look at the decisions that you made that put you in a situation where you wanted to overeat. Like one time I went to a family thing and I totally walked away feeling like I overate and I ate more than I wanted. Again, the answer was just to move on, but I'm like, all right, well, what's the lesson I can get? I'm like, well, I stood around the table of food and chatted. That's what the decision I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have chosen to stand around the table of food and chit-chatted. I should have walked away. I should have just grabbed a few things and walked away and socialized with people away from the food. Like that's an example of a decision that you might think. So that's what I would say is how to make a better plan. It's find one individual decision and go, that's one. I see how that decision contributed to my decision or to my outcome, to the actions. Because we got to think of it as cause and effect. Oh, shoot, I need my iPad. Here, let me get my iPad so I can do a whiteboard. Be right back. All right. Thank you. Let's get the iPad hooked up. And I'll kind of doodle out kind of what I'm thinking. Because I'm a visual thinker. I know not everybody is, but I very much think in frameworks. That's really, really how my brain works. Is operating that way. All right. Let's see here. Come on. Whiteboard. All right. Whiteboard. There we go. I'm trying a black one. All right. So think of it like this. So we had the emotional eat that you're describing. Or no, you didn't say emotional eat. You said overeat. All right. So we had an overeat. So what is an overeating? So first we need to define that. That is eating more than I needed. So let's kind of break this down. Eating more than I needed. Well, first, like, what does that even mean? Eating more than I needed. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. Eating more than I needed. Well, how do we define this even more than I needed? Because one of the things we want to be careful of is getting full. It's okay to get full. Getting full is not just categorically bad. The challenge is, like, let's say we have day 1, day 2, day 3. So a lot of people will talk about how, like, they'll see like skinny people. They're like, well, they eat all they want. Now, let me tell you, I hang out with a lot of skinny people, and I'm a skinny people now. And I can tell you how I react and how I handle things. So the biggest thing is, if I like overeat, so we'll just do OE, as in I get full here, I will eat way less probably for 2 days. Very normal that I will eat substantially less food for 2 days. Very, very normal. The challenge comes in if I overeat, but then I overeat here and then I overeat here because I'm probably taking in more energy than my body needs through that. So that's the thing we want to keep in mind. We don't want to just vilify getting full. We don't want to just say getting full is just categorically bad. So that part aside. But let's say you're like, well, yeah, but for my goals, I really need to kind of avoid doing that. I need to stay in charge. So we can look at overeat, OE, which led to me getting full. So the overeat, this is the result, as in I got too full. So then we had here, which was just eating. Okay. This is the action. But then we had here, we had the why or the cause, which could have been a party, could have been I was around things. And so what we want to do is look at this. Why did I eat? That's this. Was I hungry? Was it just there? Was there social pressure? That's hard to read. Yeah, that's better. I need that thinner one. Was there social pressure? That's what we got to think about. All right, so you got to kind of get back and back and back and back. And again, hopefully this makes sense. I'm kind of promise I don't have the specifics of your situation to know exactly what to suggest. Let me scroll back up. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Rosie, no, okay. I'm 7 months into my journey, and I'm wanting to get some caloric awareness by starting to track my calories. However, how do I not turn calorie counting into a diet and only use it as a tool? So we actually are going over that on my Wednesday session in the guild. This is going to be a big part of what we're talking about because the marathon in the middle stage is when we begin calorie counting. So I guess tell a little bit of everybody, for those listening, how I approach weight loss now. Because I've been doing it now for years, and I used to have very much like this choose your own adventure format, which is fine, but the thing is I noticed a lot of people are getting stuck, and I've realized I needed to bring a bit more structure. Hold on, let me bring that comment back up so I can just leave it here so people know what we're talking about. All right, so I now break the journey down into stages. So we have stage 1, which is ground zero. Then we have stage 2, which is foundations. And then we have 3, which is the marathon phase, which is the full name is the marathon in the middle. Because there's a dang marathon in the middle of this journey. Stage number 4 is the final pounds. This is when you're getting near the end and your journey really transforms. And then we have intentional maintenance. So this is how I approach weight loss in these individual stages. And I really think these stages are, I think they're important that we have. So what you're describing, and I don't know where you're at, and it's not time-based. I used to think like in terms of time or pounds lost, but now what I've realized is there are experiences that people need, and I have them get scaffolded here before a person begins the marathon, which really is when it begins to feel very diety, like what you're talking about here, getting caloric awareness. And so sometimes people, they jump to calorie counting too fast and they end up just dieting their way thin, which there's nothing wrong with that, except for most of us, when we've been battling our weight for a long time, we have two problems. Right? We have two problems. Problem number 1 is weight loss. We have all this excess weight, which means we need to go on a diet, diet in the vernacular of the people, right? But then we have number 2, or actually, let me change diet. It's not diet. We need to go into a deficit. We need to go into an energy deficit. But we have problem number 2, which is the root cause of this problem, which is weight gaining or an inability to maintain weight without dieting. Because what we don't want to do is lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back. I mean, the body is naturally going to fluctuate on its own. But, there's a difference between this, what's called a standard deviation. If this is 5 pounds, that's just normal. We don't want a standard deviation of like 20 pounds. That's just yo-yo dieting. And that's what we don't want to have. And so what happens is a lot of people, they will track their calories and lose all their weight, but then they didn't actually address the weight gaining problem. And now they just have to keep perpetually dieting. And that's what we don't want to create. We don't want to create that. And so I've really been structuring the guild and the new stages to help it where we don't have to do that. Now that was a new thing this year, and that's something I've learned based off of working with people in the real world over years and just noticing these trends and patterns, because I'm trying to not, look, I know how to diet. I know how to teach people how to count calories and peel weight off their body. I know how to do that. That's what I got started doing. Lots of people know how to do that. But that's not what people are asking for. Even though they say, I want to lose weight. Right. But what people want is they want to become thin, healthy, happy, and in shape. They want to become that person. They don't want to go to Thinville and find their way back. People don't want to become thin and then have to diet forever. People want to just be that way. They want to be, quote unquote, a naturally thin person. I would now think of myself as a naturally thin person, even though I spent the majority of my life obese, because I was naturally overweight because of the way I lived my lifestyle. And so, all that to say, if you're wondering about calorie tracking, that's where the Wednesday session is going to come into play, because we're going to do a deep dive into it. Let's see. Rosie, you gave me a follow-up. I overate and then continued to snack through the night, even though I was stuffed. Didn't like it at all, but couldn't stop. Okay. All right, good. This is a much better thing. So how do you get yourself to stop when you're sort of in a groove? You need a response plan. And this lets you know, like, what's the challenge? You didn't have some way to stop yourself when you got into it. First, again, same thing. Today, you just hyper listen to your hunger and don't worry about it. You just hyper listen to your hunger and don't worry about it. What I would be curious to know is why you couldn't stop. What were you saying in your mind? Because there's lots of different scenarios here, right? So I want you to kind of reflect back in last night and ask yourself, be honest, no judgment, right? If you judge yourself, you won't be honest with yourself. There's no judgment here. Look, you're among friends. But be kind of honest with yourself. What were you saying to yourself to give yourself permission to do the activity? I don't know if you've gone through it in the guild, we talk about thought patterns, but we have your permissive thought. What was the thought you were telling yourself that gave yourself permission to do it? We need to be able to identify that thought without judgment. So kind of sit and go in your mind and see if you can find it. Always enjoy the daily listening, upbeat and positive. Always like the challenges in a fall quest. Yeah, we are, and we have more of those coming. I said, I'm going to do the empowerment boot camp. What I'm trying to decide is the empowerment boot camp going to be live, or is it going to be like a quest style? That's what I haven't decided yet. Can you define stages when you move into the next? We kind of do in the guild. I'm working on a course that'll more clearly outline that. This is part why I haven't been doing as many meetings, y'all, because I've got to build all these courses for everybody that really clearly just out, because I get a lot of the same repetitive questions and people don't come to all the live sessions or watch all the replays, which is totally okay. But I got to get these courses made. So stay tuned for that. But the long and short of it is, your first 10 pounds is hunger driven. Your second 10 pounds were solidifying activities and behaviors. And then by that point, you're now ready to move into the marathon, where we actually start creating a purposeful deficit using calorie counting. That you don't keep doing forever. So you do the challenges that go through each stages. All right, you know what? Here, we're at time. Let's see how we at. We got people. Okay, we got a bunch of people here. You know what? I think it is time. Let's talk about. We'll do quick. We're gonna do a real quick rapid fire. All right, because I don't want to run out of time, and I want to talk about the GLP-1's. Yeah, and Rosie, bring it up in the, mention it in circle, make a post about it. Let's continue this conversation. I think this is a great conversation. Let's continue it in circle, make a post, kind of talk about it, and then I'll respond to you. So I'm going to look for your post in there. You can tag me in it if you want. I'll probably make a video response, because I think this is a very common thing. So let's continue the conversation and keep it going. Yeah, we'd love another quest. Yeah, and that's what I got to decide. Is the empowerment boot camp going to be questy? Like, it's probably going to be both. See, how's the coffee? Is it warm? Coffee, yes. All right. I want to celebrate wins. We need to do some champion shout outs. We need to do some wins, everybody. So what I want you to do in the chat section right now, tell me true. How did you do last week on your journey? I want to know how you won, how you kicked ass, how you took names, and What did you do in the name of your goal? We're going to go quicker. Normally, I've been doing these a little longer, but I want to take some time and talk about GLP-1's. So let's get to the celebration. So tell me in the chat, how did you win? How did you win? How did you whoop on your journey, so to speak? And you know what? Hold on. I'm going to add buttons because it takes me too long. While you're putting your wins in the chat here, I'm going to bring up some music here, just some background music. All right. Tell me in the chat. Tell me about a victory. Tell me about something you did that really worked. All right. All right. So while you're doing that, I'm going to change these to, we want yes. Yes. Okay. We want winner. And put my buttons, because what I want to do, I want to celebrate with you, but then I'll be able to, I'm getting buttons made. I have this little thing here. I'm programming the buttons so that I can turn them on a lot easier, because normally I have to do a whole thing and it slows me down. We're going to rapid fire this today. Rapid fire. What are the other ones I like to do? I love to do congrats. Oh, we got to type congrats. So tell me about your win. I'm gonna circle back and get you here in the chat. So go ahead and put them here in the chat. Tell me about over here. Tell me about your wins, and I'm gonna get you here in a second. I just got to add a couple more buttons. Amazing, yes, amaze. If you understand that reference, you are my people. And let's see, mind blown. Did I do that one? Mind blown. All right, let's get one more. Let's get one more button. Tell me your wins. Tell me those wins in the chat, right? Tell me the wins in the chat. Did I do a love it? Oh, I love it. There we go. Love it. There we go. All right, everybody. It's time to celebrate wins. Let's scroll back up to the top. Time to scroll back. So tell me your win. Any win. No victory is too big. No victory is too small. Anything you did in the name of your goal. We're going to go kind of quick through these today because we're going to talk about GLP-1's here in just a minute. And I love to do these with the funky music. So let's see. Is that the funky one? No, that's not the funky one. Where's the funky one? That's not it. That's not it. No. Where's my funky song? Hold on. Celebration. Did they take it off my list? Hold on. We're going to find it. We're going to find it. There it is. It's the clap. All right. Tell me your wins. Tell me your wins in the chat. Let's go. Let's do it. Oh, bring up my sound effects because we got to be able to do the applause. All right, here we go. Renewing my gym membership for the next year. Nice. Good job keeping your place of fitness going. Made your first Marco Polo. Staying in connection with the community. Wonderful. Scheduled exercise and crushed it. I love it. Love it when you do that. Stay on top of your exercise. Got up to a mile with my swimming this morning. Something I haven't done in 15 years. Wow. Congratulations on getting up to that. I know that is no joke, swimming a mile. I've done it myself. Wanted to continue emotionally eating after leaving the family last night, but decided to talk to my sister about how I was feeling instead. Excellent work, processing your feelings in a more empowering way. Entered a new decade. Woo, entered a new decade. Woo, congratulations on that. Wonderful. Reached a new low of 297 pounds this week. What? Excellent. Winning. Making it into the next. Wait, starting with a 2 now. Wonderful. 0 unplanned snacks. Staying on top of it. Wonderful job, Doug. Being kinder myself with my self-talk. That is very, very important to do that. Made dinner in the morning, so when dinner comes, I don't have to worry about it. Just eat. Yes. Pre-planning, setting yourself up for success when life's going to be a little bit more, your brain's going to be a little bit more tired later. Wonderful. Going through something hard and having a hard week and losing weight. That's right, you are. And losing weight. I love it. I don't love what you're going through, but I also kind of do because I know what it is. And I love that you're losing weight, changing the pattern, got back up, wiped the slate clean so fast. I love that too. That gets another love it. Day 20 of 30, running a mile a day, no skip days. Wonderful job. Going to the gym right after work, set it straight from home, ate out all week, sat in some sadness yesterday. I mean, I hate that you're sad, but I like that you sat in it instead of turning to food. Got some steps in right afterward to channel that emotion. Great job. Great job. Been consistent with minimum 2 workouts a week. Oh, wait. Where did my music go? We need more music. There we go. For 6 weeks. Wonderful job, Sawyer. Harlow. Not giving up when the fuckets arrived. It was a hard one. Good job, man. Good job. Keep going. Pre-planning food for work from home days. Was feeling low last week and had 3 pounds of fluid weight gain, but lost that and 2 pounds this morning. Here's the thing, everybody, and I love this. I love that you're thinking about that, right? But remember, it's about changing our lifestyle, our habits, our routines, our environment, our community, and our systems of belief. And as long as you're making changes to those, you are indeed winning. You're winning if you're changing your habits. Remember, losing weight's important, but dealing with the weight gaining problem is just as important, if not more important, because maintenance is always a victory, and maintenance is very, very important to do. Okay. The topic for today that I wanted to talk about was GLP-1's. GLP-1's. I have not talked about them in a minute. I like to let some time pass between when I make sort of a public, generalized set of comments. Because, they're in the grand scheme of weight loss, they're new. They're new. I mean, when I first got into coaching, nobody used them. I still remember the first client that had it. He goes, I'm on this thing called Wegovy. Have you heard of it? And I'm like, Wegovy? That sounds like a root, like Hoodia, that natural appetite suppressant that people would try, right? I tried that. And I was like, no, I don't know what this is. And he's telling me about it. I'm like, I got to go look into this. And I'm like, all right, looking into it and learning about Ozempic and like, oh, this is interesting. I'm working with this client. I'm like, well, this is interesting. Dude don't want to eat and he's losing weight. And I remember at one point he said, I'm like, I don't know why you're meeting with me, man. Like, what do you mean? You're losing weight. Like, and so I was like, what is this medication? Right. So then it slowly started taking off more and then it was super expensive and then it's becoming more and more prevalent. And I mean, GLP-1s are here. They're here. They're here. Oh, by the way, as we're getting into this, if you don't mind, can you, if you're new here, hit subscribe, but also, can you find wherever on the screen is that like button and just give that a tap? That does help get the stream in front of more people. YouTube does reward that. Kind of feels weird still to ask for that, but I need to. But thinking of GLP-1s, and again, this is coming from the lens of a weight loss coach, and I should probably give a couple other disclaimers on how I said about this. So first, yes, I do indeed have a business. Most of y'all here are in the business that teaches weight loss. So a lot of people think like my opinions are heavily swayed by that. And while I do my best to keep my opinions about GLP-1s detached from that, I cannot guarantee it doesn't affect it some, but I do my best to keep that separate. I also am, I'm also aware that like, for many people, this is an answer to a lifelong prayer in their heart, so to speak, right? They felt hopeless. They didn't know what to do. Used to be, I was the last person, like a person was coming to me, it was me or weight loss surgery, right? Because weight loss surgery is a big deal. And so it has affected how people come to me. But that being said, the GLP-1 has not really affected what I do with weight loss. Hasn't affected what I do with weight loss. Oh, by the way, I see you just put somebody here. You had a question. If you have a question about the GLP-1s, you don't have to wait. Go ahead and put them in. If it's off topic, yeah. I mean, you can ask it. I just probably won't get to it. But if you do have a question about the GLP-1s, I'm looking at the chat right here so I can see it. I'll address your question. Actually, I'll even leave the chat here kind of small. Let me move that a little bit, kind of a little further out of the way. That way you can, and then I can see it right here too, because I'm looking at y'all on a monitor. The other thing is, I can't be sure that old me wouldn't have taken a GLP-1 even today. If like I hadn't have done what I did not use a GLP-1. I did it all through lifestyle and habit change. So I do believe that the way I did it was better. I genuinely believe that. With everything I know about my body and myself, if I had gone on the GLP-1, I would have been making the wrong decision for me. Like, I know that with certainty. I have the benefit of hindsight, and I have the benefit of I'm a weight loss coach. I've been in this industry now for a full time for 6 years, and this is my life. So I think about this stuff all the time. I stay on top of things. I stay on top of the trends. I stay on top of the information because it's my job. So and I also work with people, and I specifically work with people that are obese, 100 plus pounds, 200, 300 pounds. Like, these are the people I help, that I want to help. And with everything I know, for me, going on a GLP-1 would have been the wrong decision, but I have the benefit of hindsight. If it were today, I don't know. Because if it were rewind the clock, I don't know what I know now. Knowing only what I knew at the beginning, I might have taken it. So I don't judge anybody for taking it, even if they were like me and it is actually the wrong decision for them. They just don't know, because you just don't know. You don't even know what it is. You don't know. So any other disclaimers I need to do with this? No, I don't have any other disclaimers. So first, for many people, a GLP-1 is the right answer. It is. There are many people. I have actually strongly encouraged some people to go look at a GLP-1 and say, I think you maybe should go talk to your doctor. I have. I don't do that a lot, but I have done it. There are many people that I think a GLP-1 is the wrong answer for. They don't need it. They don't need it. But they believe they need it. And, I have to meet a person where they're at. But the thing is, a GLP-1 will make it where some people will say that a GLP-1 is a shortcut, and some people will say that it isn't. I do not believe a GLP-1 is a shortcut to ultimate success, which is losing the weight and keeping it off. But a GLP-1 is a shortcut for much of the work required to get there. It is. It just is. I've worked with enough people. I've talked firsthand with enough people, not 5, like much more than that. And the thing I can see is what it does is it makes it where you don't have to do work around learning how to listen to your body anymore. It completely shortcuts all that because it takes it away. You don't need to listen to your hunger because your hunger's not there. You don't need to learn about food because you don't need to. You don't need to even go exercise. And so what happens is a person is losing weight and they're not creating all the lifestyle and habits, but more importantly, they're not coming up with reasons to create all the lifestyles and habits that have nothing to do with weight loss. Because it's like a lot of people, they only exercise and they only go move if they're going to lose weight. And it's like, well, if I'm going to lose weight and I don't have to do this stuff, why would I do it? And so they don't. And when I talk to a lot of people, overwhelmingly, when I talk to people, I ask them, what's your long-term plan? So many of them say, well, I'm going to lose the weight, then I'm going to come off of it. I'm like, yeah, but all the data shows that's not going to work. Oh, well, I'm going to try to adopt the lifestyles and habits. I'm like, you say that, but I've done it and I've worked with people that do it. It's hard. Because when you come off of it, the food noise is going to come back. Food noise is a term I didn't used to hear. I didn't used to hear the term food noise. I hear it all the time now. Food noise is just another word for emotional eating. Your body is not going to be infinitely physically hungry unless there's something wrong. And so what it turns into is this hedonic hunger that we call food noise. It's the emotional desire to eat. Desire to eat has nothing to do with being physically hungry. Not all of it's like some disordered thing. In fact, a good portion of it isn't. That's why I work with emotional eating and helping people learn about the other signals of emotional eating. And so the thing is, with a GLP-1, I am concerned there are going to be a large number of people who are going to use it for a year or two. They're going to get the weight off. Then they're going to come off of it. And then over the course of several years, they're going to gain their weight back. And then they're just going to go back on the GLP-1. And then they're going to gain their weight back. And then they're going to go back on the GLP-1. And then they're going to gain their weight back. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a large number of people that are going to cycle off and on it for the rest of their life. We're also creating a situation where a lot of people, to become thin and stay thin, and they're going to have to pay to be on a prescription for the rest of their life. And that's okay. It's an individual decision. But if I'm just as a weight loss coach giving commentary on what is my personal opinion, that makes me sad. Because a large percentage of those people don't actually need to do that. They just don't know another way. Look, I've created a weight loss program that does lifestyle and habit change as the core behind it, and teaching you how to listen to your body and addressing the weight gaining problem. I am not the only program out here that does this. I'm not. There's just not a lot like me, because I'm not offering quick solutions. A person comes to me 100 plus pounds overweight. I'm just straight honest with them. Like, it's going to take you 2 or 3 years. Well, I want to lose it fast. I know you do. I could lose it fast. I know you can, but you shouldn't. The real answer is you got to do it by actually changing your life. And a lot of people, they don't want to do that. And I get it. It's hard. Fixing your life and changing the things in your life is hard. Facing your emotional eating is hard. Many people come to my program not thinking they're an emotional eater. And then 6 months into it, going through the coursework, they're like, oh, wow, I am an emotional eater. They're beginning to realize that they are. And now they got to do the work. And they have to deal with their weight gaining problem in addition to their weight loss problem. And it takes time. And they have to endure setbacks, and we have to level up our mindset. But the thing is, I think that's the way to do it, because the person ends up with a life that is more what they want. And they end up feeling much more in control, and they're reliant upon themselves and not reliant upon a medication. I'm worried that we're creating a dependency upon this medication that really only just benefits the pharmaceutical industry. Doctors are out here trying to solve weight loss, but they're not the people. Now, this is not an opinion I share in isolation. People that do what I do across all spectrums have very strong feelings towards doctors and weight loss. There are many good doctors out there about weight loss. Many, many good ones. Many, many, many. But there are many, probably more, that are terrible. They used to just be like, you need to cut your carbs. Because all they're thinking is your body's too big and you need to get smaller. Right? That's all they're thinking. But it's like, right, but why are you that big? Oh, it's my lifestyle. Oh, why is it your lifestyle? Oh, it's my job is slowly killing me and I have some unresolved trauma. Well, the doctor's not going to help with that. The doctor's like, well, you need to, I don't know, go see a therapist. And so then a person goes sees a therapist who's not trained or equipped to know how to deal with emotional eating. And the other thing I found is I'm having this interesting thought towards therapy. I think therapy is good. I have a therapist, right? Therapy is great. I think people should have a therapist like they have a primary care physician, and they ought to at least check in a few times a year. Like, I think therapy is wonderful. But I think sometimes, and many times, a person is going to a therapist when really what they need is a coach and a mentor. They're not looking for somebody to help them make the discovery. They're looking for somebody to come shake them awake and say, here's what you're not seeing, and here's what you need to do to go get the life that you want. I think that's what people want, but that's not what therapy is. Some therapists, they then blur the lines and become more coachy style. I've made friends with a few that do that because they've seen this, that people kind of just want to be told what to do. Actually, if you've watched the show Shrinking on Apple TV Plus, the therapist, the main guy, he's based off of a real therapist in the real life, in the real world, who has this thought about therapy, that people just want to be told what to do and to actually make the changes. And so I think what happens is a person goes to a doctor, the doctor makes the person feel like they need to lose weight, and then the person then would go to like a therapist who's not equipped and doesn't know how to help the person lose weight because they're not trained on it, they don't have the experience. And so then the person just feels hopeless and trapped. And now all of a sudden the doctors can say, but I can give you this medication and you'll just lose weight. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that. Because it's like, what else am I going to do? I don't know where to go. Because like a lot of people don't know about my program, or they see my program and they're like, well, it's just like every other program that's out there. Why would I do this? Right? Like, you know, when I was talking about my Kickstart program, this weight loss program is not like most weight loss programs. It's very different. But a person sees it, they don't know that. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I just don't got it in me to do one more diet. I can just do this medication and have it a surefire thing. And so I think that that's okay. But like, you know, Dagny, you just brought up a good question here. You know, could you use the GLP-1 as a tool to give you a break temporarily? Like if you've been struggling or tired of the fight of it. And that's what people think that, no, you could, but I don't actually think that's a good idea. Because it is in that struggle that you make the changes in your life. It is through the discomfort that we learn to grow and adapt. And many times we're trying to rob ourselves of the discomfort because it's uncomfortable, because it's unpleasant, or we don't have the support to help. That's why I've created the guild. That's why I've created my community. That's why I have the coaching program, like so that people can get to know what to do. And yeah, the doctors are always pushing drugs. I've had many a client where like they're losing weight actively and the doctor's out there pushing a GLP-1 on them. Even though, or like weight stalls for 3 weeks, which is super normal. And the doctor's like, well, we can get you on a GLP-1. It's like, The thing is like, you have to deal with why you gain the weight in the first place. And the GLP-1 doesn't take away the root cause. It is a aspirin for a headache. But there are some people, they have a lot of physical limitations and it's going to be very hard to move. And they may need to go into a GLP-1 so that they can make some real headway and lower their body weight so they can get to the place that they can actually start moving again. This is going to be the case a lot of times for those that are elderly, right? Because they're also fighting against just, they have an older body. There are going to be some people that have a 2 or 3 or even 400-pound weight loss journey ahead of them. Psychologically, that is really, really difficult. That's going to be 5, 6, 7 years. That's going to be really, really difficult. It might make sense to go on a GLP-1 for several years and then maybe taper off of it. One of the things I want to do this year is I want to create a tapering program for those that want to come off GLP-1s. I'm still in the data gathering phase. But I'm seeing there's a lot of people that want that. They want to come off them, but they don't know what to do. They don't know how to create the lifestyle. Because of what you're just saying here, the growth is in the struggle, right? And so, yeah, I know I'm annoying sometimes. But it's like, the thing is, like Fiona right here, taking a break from the food noise sounds amazing. But it's learning how to manage it. It's also learning the food noise is a signal that something needs your attention. Something needs your attention. It is that discomfort that is telling us something in our life needs to be worked on. Go work on it. Oh, but I need a break from it. Right. There are ways to get a break from it that don't require going on to a GLP-1. I think those that need to go on a GLP-1 are those that just have a substantially long journey and they need that leg up. They need that force modifier. I don't think if a person's 100 pounds overweight, they should do it. I don't think that's enough. I think you should be, like if a person were over 200 pounds overweight, I might consider it. 300 pounds, well, yeah, I'm much more inclined to be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. No, and there are studies about tapering off GLP-1s. And that's the thing. The medications are so new that we just don't know. But what we're seeing when people taper off them, if they make the lifestyle changes, they can maintain some of the weight loss. But that's the thing. A lot of people, they don't stop and think about that. And I'm someone that's done it, and I've worked with people that have done it. Like, look, the novelty of being thin has worn off. It's no longer neat to me that I'm thin. The novelty that I can just go run 10 miles, that's worn off. I was talking to my brother-in-law about it on a run. I'm like, all the reasons I used to use to motivate me to go exercise and move when I was losing weight in the first couple of years of maintenance, they're all gone. They're all gone. None of them have any pull anymore. I've had to find completely new reasons to take care of myself, completely new reasons to still focus on my nutrition, completely new reasons to still focus on taking care of my body, because all the old ones don't work anymore. All the old ones don't work anymore. And so this is where I think of it as like a person goes on a GLP-1 and then they come off of it and the food noise comes back and they don't know how to deal with it. And then they didn't create the lifestyle and habits that are stand apart from weight loss. I mean, mindset is key. It is. And the thing is, shifting your mentality takes time. People are looking for a sudden transition, a sudden transformation in mindset, but it just doesn't work that way. And not only that, you backslide. Mindsets have to be continually worked on. Because, what'll happen is you start working on life, life starts getting better, you're leveling up your mindset, and then life will get hard again, because that's what life does. And then you'll find the gaps in your mindset, or you'll find where you took your eye off the prize, or you'll find where you let yourself backslide, and you have to level yourself up again. And this is just part of the journey. And Debbie, what you're saying here is very important. The pressure to take a GLP-1 these days, so many ads and people pushing for it. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I'm of the opinion now that kids shouldn't have smartphones until they're teenagers. Like the more I've learned about it, I don't have a kid right now, so it's not something I have to deal with. But like, I truly don't think that kids should have smartphones until they're teenagers. And even then, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, like how it's done. But it's like, how do you do that when your kid's going to be the only kid not with a smartphone? Right? That's a really challenging thing. You'd almost have to find like a community of other parents that didn't want to do it and then try to have your kids be friends. But then you're trying to force kids to be friends with each other, which that may not be the right thing either. Right? It is like, it is challenging. So I say that to recognize like the pressure, what you're saying here about the pressure to take a GLP-1 is real. It's very real. We can't just pretend that's not a factor for people's lives. But you see, now this is a case. So it's like if a person's doing it for diabetes, that's what makes sense. But the thing is, like a lot of people, they say they're taking it for their diabetes, but then when you look at their dosage and what they're doing, they've upped the dose to make it work for weight loss when they could be managing the diabetes with a lower dose. Again, that's individual. You got to work on that with your doctor. I think sometimes if a person's on a GLP-1, they got to be honest with themselves. A lot of people are going onto a GLP-1 and they're not being honest with themselves. The truth is you are more than likely going to have to stay on it. There's very little information to show that you won't, unless they make some sort of other medication that like a lower dose. But the other problem is a lot of people are wanting a GLP-1 because they're wanting to lose weight fast. They're wanting to be done with this journey and just be over. They want to be changed, but they don't want to go through the process of changing. So I have a book here, Psycho-Cybernetics. As you know, it's one of my favorite books. I wrote this in the back of my book a long time, years ago, because I made this realization in my first year of coaching people. People want to be changed without going through change. People don't want to go through the deconstruction and reconstruction process of change. Change requires destruction of your old ways, of the ways you've done things. I mean, there's a song from it. Star is Born. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Takes a lot to change a man. Hell, it takes a lot to try. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Like we know, it's hard to change, to let the old ways go. The mind doesn't want to just be like a paper bag drifting in the wind. That's not a bug, that's a feature. However, that doesn't mean the mind can't change and won't change. It will. I've realized the difference between changing and personal growth is change done intentionally. You pick the direction you want to go. You pick the life you want. You pick the person you want to be, and then you go be it, and you go make the life. And I think a GLP-1 has a place in this world. I mean, it's here to stay. There's no reason to say it isn't. But I just think there's a lot of people that are going on a GLP-1 that don't need it. They could make the lifestyle changes. They could make the habit changes. They could learn about their emotional eating and work on the reasons behind it. They could allow themselves to go on the weight loss journey for 2 or 3 years and strive satisfied. They could work on their mindset. They could work on their emotional coping strategies. They could change their community around them, their environment. They could pick up new routines, new ways of living life. They could do all those things, but they don't want to. They want to leave all of their life the same, and they just want to be thinner in it, failing to realize that it is the life that you're living that is connected to your body weight. And that's what I had to understand. The way I live my life, every aspect of it affects how my body looks. It's not one little thing. It's a bunch of things. And I understand that people may not want to or may not have the bandwidth or even the belief that they can change those things. And a GLP-1 is an answer to that for many people. So I don't fault anybody for taking it. I don't. My program mostly works if a person's taking it. The challenge is my program also is addressing the weight gaining problem. And the weight gaining problem requires me to teach you how to reconnect with your body and learn how to communicate with your body and your signals again. And the GLP-1 mutes and turns off all those signals. And so I can't help you work on your weight gaining problem when you're on a GLP-1. The GLP-1, sure, makes it where you won't gain weight back. But it also makes it where you can't do the work to learn how to listen to your body. Just takes it away. And that's the shortcut. That's the big shortcut. You don't have to learn to wait until you're hungry to eat. You don't have to learn how to stop eating before you're full while you still have a little bit of a desire to eat food. You don't have to learn how to detect emotional hunger versus physical hunger and then learn how to respond to it, how to navigate emotional hunger. You don't have to learn how to do it because none of those signals are there. You literally can't do it. You can't even do the work because we can't even synthesize it. You don't have to learn how to bounce back from failure when you emotionally eat again. The GLP-1s just take that away because you're not going to do it because you're not going to be that hungry. You're not going to have to learn kind of what Rosie was talking about earlier. How do I go to a party where I end up overeating? And then the next day, how do I process that and deal with it? Like Rosie's doing the work. This is the work. Made us stumble. I'm going to learn from it, get my lesson, and then I'm going to move forward. The GLP-1 robs you of every single one of those lessons. And the thing is, every single failure has a lesson there to teach you something. And if you don't fail, you won't get the lesson. And a lot of lessons can only be learned in failure. It's the only way to learn it, because some things can only be learned experientially. You can't read about it in a book. You can't have me tell you about it. You just got to go feel what it feels like. And then you learn it. And I don't know how you overcome that with a GLP-1. When you come off of it, you're going to have to still learn all those lessons. And the thing is, I've felt the feeling of losing all the weight and the fear that comes of like, oh no, am I going to gain it back? The dreaded slippery slope feeling is very scary. We talk about it in my maintenance programs, that many of us go through that at various phases. And the fear of weight regain is real. And a person comes off a GLP-1 after they've already lost all the weight, they'll probably bail and go back on the medication rather than face that fear, where it's much easier to deal with that fear in the beginning. But so many of us, we're so eager to get to the other side of the journey. We just want to get going. And I get it. I wanted to crash my weight off the whole time I was losing weight. And I kept telling myself, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't crash weight. Because I'm here to change my life. I'm here to change my life. My lifestyle, my habits, routines, my environment, my community, my belief systems. I have to go and address and look at all of those things. If I go look at all of those things and make changes to them, I'll get a new me. But if I don't, I won't. I won't. Like right here. This is it. This is the work for the weight gaining problem right here. You hit it on the head. A GLP-1 deprives you of this opportunity to do this work. It takes it away. Now, this is another example though. If there's a sense of urgency for health reasons, that's one of those situations where it might make sense to go on a GLP-1. Some people, their health condition, clear and present right now, is dangerous. They need to lose weight now. Okay, so be it. They waited too long. We got to go. We got to get going. You may not have a choice. I used to feel the same way about weight loss surgery. I used to think some people, weight loss surgery was the right answer. And one of them was like, you have a health condition and like, you need to get this fixed. Yes, a GLP-1 does affect how food tastes. It affects the reward center of your mind. It does do that. Yes, I agree also with you, Tiffany. A lot of people think it is diet and exercise because they're only focusing on the weight loss problem. They're not focusing on the weight gaining problem, which isn't a diet problem. So many people, they're only focused on one side of the equation without ever addressing the root cause. Because a lot of people think the root cause is out of their control. They think there's nothing. I used to think that way. There's nothing I can do. I'm just destined to gain weight. Just how it is. Nothing I can do. My body's broken. Something's wrong with me. That's what I used to think. I used to actually believe that. But I had to reject that belief. Because if it was true, I was screwed. Confucius says he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. And if a person believes that they're broken, then they're broken, even if they're not broken. Because we all have the power of self-sabotage. We can make sure we don't do the things that would work. Anyway, there's some of my thoughts on GLP-1s. It's not my place to tell a person whether they should or shouldn't do it. I guess the takeaway is make an informed decision. Know what you're signing up for. Know what you are taking. Know what the GLP-1 is giving you and know what it is not giving you. Have clarity on the entire thing. I think that's the important part. Be an educated buyer, so to speak. All right. Have a great day, everybody. So good to see you. Hey, if you are new here and you have not taken my free weight loss program, you can go to becomingthin.com. You can register for the Kickstart program. It's totally free. We'll get you started on your weight loss journey. It is a daily coaching program. Also have new episodes of the podcast every Friday. My latest ones, I've been doing a much more deeper dive into kind of philosophy and mindset work. Stuff I've just been kind of wanting to get to that's maybe not beginner friendly, but I don't know, you can jump into it if you'd like. But I got the first 200 episodes or 250 episodes there ready for you to go. And my mission here is to help all of you become thin, healthy, happy, in shape, which I call the core 4 goals. I don't want you just to become one of them because that's lame. I don't want you to become 2 of them or even 3 of them. I want you to get all 4. And I don't want you to take a round trip ticket to Thinville. I want you to take a one-way trip ticket to Thinville. That's what I'm looking to help you get to, looking to help you find. If you are in the guild, which I know many of you listening here are in fact in the guild, I want to invite you, if you have not already begun doing so, to start taking part in the daily coaching program, which you'll find in your guild library. We've been having great results with that. People really enjoying it, finding it's really been helping them on their journey. So go check that out. Don't forget the grounding sessions, the 15-minute ones. I got those posted this week. And if you're working towards the marathon in the middle phase, I got a lesson for you on Wednesday coming up. So if you can't catch us live, be sure to catch the replay for that, because I know we got many of you that are finally moving past foundations and you're ready to level up because you've been crushing it this year. So stay focused on your weight loss journey. Take this one day at a time. I know it's so tempting to want to cast your mind into the future, but you got to do this one day at a time. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you next week.